Welcome to another episode of the Savvy Author Show. I am your host, Clara Rose. Every week I show up here to help savvy authors just like you get all of the tools, tricks, tips, whatever it is that they need to help them be a savvy author. Hence the name, Savvy Author Show. Now, today I don't have a guest. I often do have a guest, and those are always fun, but today we're going to actually do some work. I'm going to give you a valuable tool that as a new author or aspiring author is going to save you a ton of time and money. Now, you may well have talked with your literary agent or your literary consultant, with the publishing house, whoever it is that you're working with to get your book published. You may have talked about covers already. If it's included in your package that you're paying for, great. If it's not included in your package, there is another way. Now, of course, there are companies out there that offer like packages for your book cover. They will often be an entire art program is what it's called. So it could be your cover plus any graphics that are going inside your book, such as your title page, your little icons that go at the beginning of each chapter, anything graphic that goes inside your book, that's created as part of the art program. And then, of course, your cover. Now, the downside to going with a cover that comes from your publisher typically is you have very little control over what that cover looks like. Now, of course, if you are an independent and you're going to be publishing as a self-published author, then you have 100% creative control. And if you're going with a hybrid publisher like my company, they're going to likely help you through the process and give you some guidance and tips. So you just want to make sure that whatever cover you put out there for the world is actually a great cover for the world. I like to tell my authors it's a promise. The cover is a promise of what you're going to find on the inside. I actually want to just point out, this is an author who we published last year, Wendy. Sweet lady. We had her on the show even. Into the Light, Trauma to Triumph. So her book is 100% about healing from trauma. And I don't know if you can see how well you can see it. This cover is a promise of what you're going to get inside this book. Right? There's a light shining through the butterfly, talk about transformation. This visually promises what you're going to find inside that book. And that's super important when you're creating a cover. Now, those are just like some cover basics. Titles, of course, are super important, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are going to talk about how you can, in a few easy steps, create your own cover. Now, first of all, you want to make the decision about the size of your book. Now, depending on your page count, you may want a larger book, and depending on your page count, you might want a smaller book. So Wendy's book happens to be a 6x9. That just means it's a 6x9 on the front side. Now, what that truly means, and I'm going to show you by opening her book, right? It's not 6x9 when you look at it this way, right? Because this is 6x9. This is also 6x9. And then there's this space right here, which is your spine, which also needs to be accounted for. So when you're creating in Canva, which is a tool I'm going to show you how to use today, we're going to create a cover that looks like that, right? So think about that when you're looking at your screen. This is always weird for people, but the front of the book is going to be on the right side of the screen. So just be aware of that. And you'll notice as we're in Canva that it looks funky, but if you held your book like this and looked at it, it's the same thing. So anyway, okay, so this one, she has a very large book. So 6x9, we couldn't go any smaller than that because it just got too chunky, too fat, right? Her book is 315 pages. That is a beefy book, right? It's an excellent book. 100% proud of the product that we put out, but that is a beefy book. I'm going to grab, in contrast, my last book. So this is a 5x8. So we have a 5x8. So this book, we have 220 pages in this book. So the spine is still pretty good sized. It's a decent size for the number of pages, right? So we could go 5.5x8 or 5x8, which this is. You can go 5.5x8.5, or you could go like Wendy's, which is a 6x9. Those are the typical sizes that you're going to find for most books in most genres. Now, there are a few exceptions. If you're, writing War and Peace, you might have a little bit larger book. We also do some journals occasionally, and they tend to run a little bit larger as well. And those things are fine. Just be sure that you're staying with a format size that you can publish and get on the expanded distribution list when it is published. Super important if you want your book to ever show up at Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or wherever in the book world out there you'd like to see it. If it isn't eligible for expanded distribution, it won't be there. Okay, I'm running out of time, so I don't want to miss this opportunity to give you some education. Let's hop over to Canva. It's Canva, Canva.com. Now, Canva is a free tool. There is a free version, I should say. Now, it has a few limitations when you're in the free version. I use the paid version, which is the pro version, but it literally cost me $15 a month. $14.99, I think. It's so cheap. As far as tools go, we use it in my office exclusively for all of our graphic creation. So all of our covers, any Facebook posts, all of our social media posts are created in there. I create business cards, brochures, anything that you could possibly need in your business as an author or just in your business can be created in Canva. All right, so let's hop into Canva and let me show you how simple it is to create a book cover in Canva. So the first thing that I want you to notice is I have pulled up Wendy's because I created Wendy's cover. So I pulled it up. You'll notice that the front of the book is on the right, which I already discussed with you, and then the back cover is on the left. This one happens to be a 6x9 because that's what we needed for her book. And each of these pieces are individual graphics. So really all you have to do is start with the right size from a blank slate. So when you look at this, I'm going to actually come up to this resize magic switch button. It's just going to let me do a drop down to show you. I'm not going to actually change her cover, but this will actually let you resize to whatever works for you. So we happen to be using the size that we need, but if you wanted to resize it to something else, you could do a custom resize on this and it would let you change it to a 5x8 or a 5.5x8.5, whatever you'd like to. There's even one in here that says book cover, so you could choose that one and play with that one if you'd like. For now, it's just about starting with that one size that you're going to use. So it's 6x9 on the front and the back, and then the spine, which of course is dictated by the number of pages. The more pages, of course, the larger your spine is going to need to be. And there's a formula to help you figure that out, of course. But for today, let's just look at the pieces. Let's look at the front cover. I'm going to click on the picture right here, and you can see that this is just an image. This whole thing, see how that lit up right there? This is just an image that we found that really resonated with Wendy. It had the sunshine coming through the mountains. It just spoke to her. The colors kind of for her mother who passed away, who loved purple and loved flowers. And then I found this beautiful graphic into the light, or the butterfly graphic, and then I placed the into the light inside it. So it's just words clicked inside of it. Just like these words below it, click where it says trauma, these are just words that I typed in there. Now I could replace those words, just double click on it and change it to what? Well, my computer is like giving me fits over here. Whatever. Whatever the tagline is. Her tagline happened to be Trauma to Triumph. I'm just saying, whatever. It's all just text. This one up here, also text. Just click on it, change it, double click on it, change it to whatever you'd like. Now, the other thing that I want to show you is when I highlighted it, do you see how this right here, this name showed up? That means that this verbiage right here is done in that font. If I drop down, of course, hopefully, there we go, it'll show up. A little bit of a slow moving computer. It will let you choose from hundreds, maybe thousands of fonts. If you don't like one in Canva that you absolutely love and adore, you can go and purchase a font and you can actually load that font into Canva and use it on all of your marketing material. I've done that on a couple of things. In fact, the railway series was not a part of Canva, but I use it on Rosedale Publishing documents. So I just purchased it and uploaded it into there. So I have access to it anytime I'm wanting to do something for Rosedale Publishing. Okay, I'm not going to change the font on that. I just wanted to show you had that ability. So the word down here, windy, that is also just text that I typed in. And then I saw that move a minute ago. If I can double click on it. See how the picture actually is much larger than the space that I'm using for the front cover? I just put the picture in the right space and I can move it around. So I love it where it is, but what if I wanted the sunshine to be over to the side? I could have it over to the side. I just happen to like it in the middle. I thought it framed out my butterfly beautifully, so I put it in the middle. Super easy to move around. Okay, let's talk about your back cover. This is also another picture that I found. The colors matched beautifully with the front cover. As I double click on it, you can see that it brings it to the forefront and you can see the entire picture. And then when I click out of it, it will drop it back into the space that I'm using it for. Then on top of it, I dropped a box. It's just a box that I inserted. Let me show you where I found that. If you come over to the left and you see where it says elements, click on elements. It's going to pull up all the different elements you could possibly want. See these shapes that pop up? I just dropped in a shape and it drops it right onto the screen for you. And you can move it wherever you'd like. So I just put it right in here and then I made it the right size. Drop it over, make it the right size because I needed my words to be able to show up on the background and it was way too busy, all the flowers and such. Now this one is purple, which it loaded it because I have so much purple on this that it thought, oh, she wants purple. So it did that for you. But if I come up here and hit this little colored box right there, look at all the color choices I can choose from. Now I can pick a color from the colors that it gives me. It also is going to say these colors right here are in the pictures that you've already put on this document. If you choose one of these, it's going to automatically match, which is a beautiful thing. You don't have to stress or worry about whether it matches. The color is a good fit. Now, of course, it does show my logo colors here, which aren't interesting to you, but it has all the colors on both the cover picture on the front and on the back. So you can choose which color you'd like to have show up. Now, of course, I'm not going to keep this box because it's not a part of the original. So I'm just going to highlight it and delete it and it will go away. Okay, all of these other things like this, Rosedale, that of course, that's just the press mark that all of my authors get. It's read, the book is being published by Rosedale Publishing. So you're going to get the Rosedale Publishing press mark on it. We add that for our clients. Next to it, of course, you'll see the ISBN barcode. If you don't know what that is, the ISBN is the number that is registered to your book for life. And of course, all books have them. You'll notice on the back, it's a barcode. It has the number, which is represented by a barcode, and most of them will have the price on the back as well. You can opt to leave the price off if you'd like. I like to have the price on there, but it's just a total judgment call for you as the author. So that's either going to come from, if you're self-published, you're going to go get that yourself. This is just a little tip that I like to give everyone because it's a kind thing to do. Don't ever let somebody give you for free the ISBN and barcode. What that means is they've purchased it, they've registered it in their name, and they're going to give it to you for free to use. But that really means is they own the rights to publish your book. You do not. So anytime someone gives you one, less contractually, they're saying you have the rights to it, they own the rights to it. Just a little, I come across it all the time. So just a little piece of free advice. Don't let somebody just give you one. Some of the big culprits are the on-demand print places. They just offer it for free, and people are like, cool, I could go, spend $250, or I could just get it for free. So they'll take the freebie. In exchange, they're giving up their publishing rights. So there you have that. Let's see what else we talk about. So the spine cover on this particular book was also just another box, right? I just wanted a light pink color to show up on the spine of Wendy's book, and I wanted it to match perfectly. I wanted it to be light enough that the name of her book stood out nicely. And so I just created a box. Once again, it's just one of these square shapes. And then I just chose the color. See the little light color pink box? I just chose that color right there out of one of the colors that showed up in the photo colors. That's how I could ensure that it's going to match. Now, if you don't have other pictures in there or you're not loving the colors, you do have the ability to create a color. So if you clicked on Add New Color on the upper left-hand side, see where it's going to let you put in the I think that's called the hex code, the color number, which you can get from various different places, but this will let you play with your colors here as well. Now, if you have a logo and you know what that code is, you can easily pull from your logo and drop them in there by just dropping it into the space right here. Once it's in your system, by the way, in your Canva, you can always go find it. As a matter of fact, if you look under here where it says brand kit, and then under that, you can see these are the brand colors for Rosedale Publishing. So I use them constantly. So I loaded them into Canva in the Pro account anyway, under my brand colors. Now I have easy access to them anytime they need them. Now, of course, you can see underneath that Statewide Blinds, which is my husband's company. His colors are also showing up there. So I thought that I would just explain to you why that was there. It will let you build out as many brand colors as you would like. Okay, so most of the pieces that we've talked about, we haven't talked about this down here. Okay, this is just a piece of the Rosedale Publishing logo. Anytime you have a press mark, they're going to want to put their logo, their press logo on the spine as well. If you're self-publishing, you don't care about such things, you don't have to have something there. On the spine, of course, you want your words to go up and down instead of horizontally. And that's simply done by creating a text box that goes up and down. So I'm just going to show you. Let me click out. See on the very far left where it says text, click on text. It's going to give you some options for text. So you can put in a header, a subheader, or just body. Or if you really are stuck for something and you're not just looking for words, there's a whole list of cute things that you can do by just picking one. Be brave. If you pick it, it's going to show up. Oh, you can't really see it because I picked a white one, of course. Be brave. Notice how I made it smaller. Everything in Canva, you can manipulate it. Every single thing. All of the pictures, all the images. This particular one, if you'll notice, it's outlined in white. But when I highlight it, look right here where the text color is, I can change the text color of this as well. So we'll click on that, and all of the colors that I've been using are going to show up. So I really wanted it on there. There it is in purple. We won't leave it there, but there you have it. That's how easy it is to work with pieces in Canva like that. All right, if it's highlighted and I hit my delete, if I can get it to behave, or you can hit the little delete, little trash can, and it'll go away as well. Okay, so that's if you want to put something pre-formatted in, but you can just drop in, just click on it and see how it dropped it in there. Now I could say whatever I want here. Name of the book. Okay. Now I'm going to make it larger. See, if you use any kind of software at all, this is going to be super intuitive for you. I want to make it bigger. Let's just click it larger. Or you can even highlight that and make it larger in that way. Okay, so there's lighter. See this little circle? This lets you swap things around if you want to live in a different light. This particular one, I just angled it so that it is going straight up and down. That's as simple as that. Put it in the middle of the space that you have for your spine, and voila. It truly is this simple. Now, it could be completely overwhelming for you to look at this and say, Clara, I just don't know that I can do this. I just don't know if it looks easy when you're clicking on it, but when I get in there myself, I don't think that I can do this. So I'm going to give you a freebie. If you feel stuck, reach out to me at hello@clararose.com and say, could you send me a Canva template? And I would be happy to send you a pre-made Canva template. Super easy to use. All you have to do is click and it will load right into your Canva. That will give you a starting point. I have them in 6x9 and 5x8, but 6x9 is truly the most popular published book size. So that's probably where you're going to start. If your book doesn't have enough pages and it feels wimpy, I mean like super wimpy, if you have less than 100 pages, please drop down to a 5x8. Just say, hey, Clara, I need the 5x8, and I'm happy to do that. Any sizes outside of those, absolutely, you can adjust them in Canva to make them other sizes. Just be aware that when you publish and then you are looking for expanded distribution, it is not eligible for expanded distribution. People are often confused by that piece. If you're going with a traditional publishing house, they will likely guide you towards a 5x8 or a 5.5 by 8.5 or 6x9 because they're worried about expanded distribution as well. And that just is that list. So don't be confused by that terminology. It's a list. It's a list that you want your book on. It's the list that if you went to Barnes & Noble tomorrow and said, hey, I'm looking for 8 Ways to Mind Your Own Business, Strategy and Mindset for the New Entrepreneur. It's by Clara Rose and Debbie Clement Large. I'm looking for a copy of this book. They would go to their computer and they would open the expanded distribution list that they order off of. And if my book is on that list, which it is, if it's on that list, then you could say, hey, could you order me a copy of that? And they're happy to do that for you. If you are not eligible to be on that list, you will not pull up, they cannot order it. So they couldn't get their hands on it for you if they wanted to. So that tells you how important it is to be on the expanded distribution list. So just a little advice for you there as an aspiring author. Okay, so we are almost totally out of time. If you have any questions about how to use Canva to make your book cover, absolutely shoot me over an email. Once again, it's just hello@clararose.com, and I'm happy to give you more information about that. Now, before we run out of time today, I do want to say, if you have been waiting for the Savvy Author Program to open up again, you're in luck because we are almost ready to open the doors again. The Savvy Author Program is just step-by-step everything you need to know to publish your book. Here's how it works. You get a literary consultant and editor who's going to help you every step of the way. So no more wondering what you're doing, writing yourself into a corner, not knowing where to stop or start. Everything that you need to know about writing your book, getting your manuscript done, is provided for you. We teach you everything about your front matter, your core content, and your back matter. Those are just the pieces of your book. Front matter is just everything that comes before the content. Back matter is just everything that comes after the core content. Don't let the words or the verbiage intimidate you. We're going to teach you everything you need to know for a solid structure for your book. And then we do a brainstorm and blueprint process together. That's getting all that stuff out of your head and onto paper where you can do something with it, and then creating your blueprint, which is an outline that you're going to follow as you write your book step by step. Literally, after the brainstorm and blueprint, you just follow the map. That's it. That's why we created that for you. And then, of course, we're going to educate you along the way about all of your publishing options. We're going to guide you through how to edit, format, and how to have publishing success. Of course, we do have other services if you want someone to do those things for you. You can always hire us for those things, but all of your basics are met right here in the Savvy Author program. And then, of course, the most important piece is the accountability. I can't tell you how many times someone has said, man, I started writing this book and I just can't make myself do it. Accountability really is the key. Someone to hold your feet to the fire and say, did you write your words this week? Or someone to say, hey, let me see what you've done so far. All of those accountability pieces and then the collaborations that come out of our group have been amazing. Some lifelong friendships have definitely happened, and I couldn't be more proud of the group that has come through the Savvy Author program in the past. And I'm super excited to open it up once again for a new group, a new cohort of people who want to create their book and really experience their dream come true in being a published author. So if you're dreaming of this is for you. We will open the cart soon for you to register. And here is just a sneak peek. We will have a special in May. So if you're thinking I might do this, we're going to have a special for you in May. Anyway, I will see you the same time next week, same time, same place, same channel, and you will learn something new. Actually, I'm just going to tell you, I have a wonderful guest next week who's going to talk to you about how she's using her book in her business to grow her business. And I'm super excited to have her come see us next week. As always, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and spend some time with me and learn how you can be a savvy author too. See you next week.